In this video, we're doing a quick example of how to build both a linear function and an exponential function. I do have more videos on doing each types of these functions under my Algebra Part A playlist, but let's just get in and do one example of each. So we have the points 0, 7 and 2, 15. We're going to do the 3 steps to write a linear function first. So to write a linear function, your first step is to find m. Your second step is to find b. And then your last step is to write the equation. Both of these have 3 steps. So my first step is to find m. I want to remember the slope formula, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I have x1, y1, and x2, y2 that I can label with these 2 points up here and just plug right into this equation. So y2 minus y1 would be 15 minus 7. Subtract the 2 y values over their corresponding x values. So the x value that corresponded with 15 was 2, minus the x value that corresponded with 7 was 0. So 15 minus 7, I get 8, divided by 2, my slope is 4. So there's my first step, m is 4. My second step is normally to find b, but b is the initial value, or the y-intercept. It's whatever the y value is when x is 0. And this is actually given to us in the point 0, 7, that b is 7. The initial value, or the y value, is 0. It's just 7, so we don't have to do too much work to find that. And my last step is to write my equation, y equals 4x plus 7. There's a linear equation modeling those 2 points. For either of those, I could plug in my x value, and I should get out the correct y value. So plug in 0 to that, you get 7. Plug in 2 to that, you get 15, so that you know you did it right. An exponential equation, I'm going to do in 3 steps as well. So whenever I see write an equation, I'm thinking 3 steps. My first step is to find c. Should be given to me nicely. My second step is to find a. And my third step is to write the equation, y equals c times a to the x. So first of all, finding c. c is the initial value. So we were given the point 0, 7, which meant c was 7. Both c and b represent an initial value or starting point. They're just called different letters in different types of functions. My next step is to find a. So I'm going to do y equals c times a to the x, and I'm going to plug in the other point, which was 2, 15 for my x and my y. So I'll replace y with 15 from the point. My initial value was 7. A is what we're solving for, and it's raised to the x power, which is 2. So I want to solve for that base a. I'm not solving for an exponent, so I'm not going to use logs. If this was 2 to the a and I wanted to solve for a, I would use log base 2. But a is not in the exponent, it is the base. So instead I just want to get it by itself by using roots. So first I would divide both sides by 7. To get 15/7 is my a squared. And then to get a by itself, if it was a to the 5th, I'd use the 5th root. If it was a to the 3rd, I'd use the 3rd root. A to the 10th, I'd use the 10th root. But this is the 2nd root, or the square root, to get a by itself. And I would just grab my calculator and take the square root of 15 divided by 7. To see that a is about 1.464. I'll just round to 3 decimal places. And my last step, I want to remember to write the equation. So y equals c times a to the x. Y equals 7 times 1.464 to the x.